how to replace your numbers in your paper with the actual works cited citations. So the first thing you have to do is you have to find your works cited page, and very lightly in pencil I want you to do this. Find out what each of these sources' number is. So go back to your original source numbers, and let's say this was the first one you found. You're going to put a little 1 right next to it right there. Then, wait a second, try that again. Put a little 1 right next to it right there. And then if you find the second, let's say this was the second source you found, this source number 2, put a 2 there. And if this was source number 3, you're going to put a 3 there. So you would do that with all your sources, so every one of them has a little number, so you can see what the actual number of the source is. It won't be in numerical order, remember, because they're now in alphabetical order. Once you have done that, then you are going to go back to the handout that I gave you, which looks like this. And you're going to write down your numbers, the numbers of your sources, however many there were, in order. So you can go write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in these boxes. And then you are going to put in parentheses whatever abbreviation or whatever that first item is really on the works cited page. So if we go back to this works cited, you can see that basket weaving here is the first thing we see. The first thing we see here is the last name of the author, Smith. The first thing we see here is the last name of the author, Williams. Those are the things we're going to use to put in our parentheses. So then when we go back to this page, it looks like this. Number 1 becomes basket weaving. You put it in quotation marks because it's a title, it's not an author. Because this one didn't have an author, we had to use the title instead, and so therefore we're going to use the title in quotation marks. This one had an author, we're just going to use the author's last name, Smith. So did this one, just use Williams. That's easy. This one, that is an added one that I made up. Let's say you had one called Basket Weavers, then you would put that in quotation marks. Let's say you had one that had a really long title like Weavers Work Wonders Under the Sea. And that would be too long to write it in these quotation marks in parentheses, so we're going to shorten it by saying Weavers, ellipsis, that's dot, 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 last word of the title, C, and put the whole thing in quotation marks also. So that gives you an opportunity to see different versions of styles. Now, if you look at the first page of the handout I gave you that's called Correct Format for Parenthetical Citation, there's also some other special cases. For example, you might have 2 authors, or you might have a name that's similar to another article, and maybe both of them have the same name, Basket Weaver. Then you're going to have to add something to differentiate between the two, and you can see on the handout how to do that. Once you've got all of this sheet filled in, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go back to your paper, and you're going to find all of the number 1s or the number 2s or the number 3s, and you're going to replace what's in parentheses here with exactly what is on, what is on this page. So every time I see a 1 on in parentheses on my paper, I'm going to put basket weaving in quotation marks in it instead. And every time I see a 2, I'm going to replace the 2 with Smith. And every time I see a 3, I'm going to replace the 3 with Williams, and so on until you get to your whole paper. Now, one nice little trick to remember is the find key. So you can go to your paper, and I'm not in Google Docs right now, so I can't show it to you, but I think it's Control-Alt-F. I think, or Control-F. Try both of those. And what it will do, it will find something in your paper. So if you put in the number 1, find 1, then it will find all the 1s, and you can go through those consecutively, copy the first one, and then just paste it into every one citation throughout the paper, and then find all the 2s and replace the 2 with whatever you need to replace it with, and so forth, until all of these things will have something like this in them. Like this one might say Smith, and all the 3s might say Williams, and all the 5s we said were Smith, right? So we have to put Smith there. And the 2s, let's say the 2s are Basket Weaver. So we're going to put that in. All right, so make sure that you are being consistent throughout. The other